Welcome to your storytelling. Enjoy the stories and don't forget to subscribe. My husband, Ethan, had always been a creature of habit. Every Friday night, without fail, he went to his favorite restaurant, La Petite Maison. He raved about their steak frites and the impeccable service. I never questioned it. Why would I? But that night, something felt off. He left in a hurry, barely kissing me goodbye, and I had this nagging feeling in my gut. I tried to brush it off, but as I sat alone in our quiet house, curiosity got the best of me. I couldn't shake the feeling, so I did something I'd never done before. I called the restaurant. "Hi, I'm checking on a reservation for Ethan Carter," I said, my voice steady but my heart racing. The hostess was polite but confused. "I'm sorry, ma'am. We don't have a reservation under that name tonight." My stomach twisted. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe he was running late. But deep down, I knew something wasn't right. Determined to prove myself wrong, I grabbed my keys and decided to drive to La Petite Maison. I told myself I'd walk in, find him at his usual table, and laugh at my own paranoia. But halfway there, I had an impulse. What if he wasn't there at all? What if he was somewhere else? I pulled over, my hands gripping the steering wheel. If not La Petite Maison, then where? And that's when it hit me. There was another place, one he never mentioned but I knew existed. A charming little bistro called Amour. It wasn't just any restaurant, it was hers. Claire's. The woman he used to date before me. She owned the place, and though Ethan had claimed they were long over, he always avoided talking about her. My pulse pounded as I changed my course and drove toward Amour, praying I wouldn't find what I feared the most. The parking lot was nearly full when I arrived. I took a deep breath, my hands shaking as I stepped out of my car. Peering through the window, I scanned the dimly lit room. And then, my heart stopped. There he was, Ethan, sitting at a cozy corner table, a bottle of wine between him and her. Claire. They were laughing, leaning in close. My stomach churned. He had lied. But why? And more importantly, what was I going to do next? I wanted to storm inside, demand answers, make a scene, but I couldn't move. My feet felt like they were glued to the pavement. My mind raced with possibilities. Was this a business meeting? A chance encounter? But then I saw it. The way he looked at her. That wasn't just polite conversation. That was familiarity, comfort. That was something I hadn't seen in his eyes for me in a long time. I needed more. I inched closer, careful to stay out of sight. Their laughter drifted through the air, light and easy. Claire twirled a strand of hair around her finger, and Ethan leaned in, whispering something that made her blush. My stomach twisted. This wasn't business. This wasn't an accident. This was intimacy. And it was happening right in front of me. As I turned away, something caught my eye, a reservation list on the hostess stand. My heart pounded as I stepped closer. Ethan's name wasn't there, but another name was, reserved for Mr. and Mrs. Carter. I blinked, my mind scrambling. Mrs. Carter? That was my name, but I wasn't sitting inside that restaurant. She was. I gripped the edge of the podium, my breath coming in shallow gasps. Who was she to him now? An old flame? A rekindled love? A secret I never saw coming? My world tilted as I realized. This wasn't just one lie. This was something deeper. Something bigger. Ethan wasn't just having dinner. He was living a double life. A waiter passed by, and I acted on impulse. "Excuse me," I said, my voice barely above a whisper. "The man at table 7, Ethan Carter. How often does he come here?" The waiter smiled. "Oh, Mr. Carter? He's a regular. Comes here almost every week with his wife." I swallowed hard. My head spun. His wife? But I was his wife. I stood there, trying to piece everything together. His wife? The words echoed in my head, but I couldn't grasp them. I had to know more. I turned away from the waiter and walked back to my car, my mind racing. How had he kept this from me? What else was he hiding? I could barely see through the tears welling up in my eyes. I had to confront him. I had to know everything, no matter how much it would hurt. As soon as I stepped into the house, I didn't even bother to hide the anger in my voice. "Ethan, we need to talk," I called out, my heart pounding. He appeared from the kitchen, looking surprised, but quickly masked it with a smile. "What's wrong, babe?" he asked casually, as if everything were normal. How could he be so calm when I knew everything? I didn't give him a chance to say anything more. "I know about her, Ethan," I snapped. "I saw you. At Amour. With Claire." His face paled, and for a split second, I saw panic flash across his eyes. But then, he recovered quickly. It's not what you think, he said, trying to sound convincing. It's just dinner, okay? But his words felt hollow, and I could hear the lie in his voice. I crossed my arms, my heart racing. Dinner? Really? You never mentioned her once in the past year, and now I find you having dinner with her every week? That's not just dinner. Ethan, what's going on? He hesitated, then took a deep breath. I didn't want to hurt you. Claire and we've been seeing each other again for months. I didn't know how to tell you. His confession hit me like a punch to the gut. I felt numb. I couldn't process his words, his actions, or the weight of the betrayal that now hung in the air. He had lied to me for months, probably longer. I had been living a lie, believing that I was enough, that our marriage was real. But now, everything felt like it was falling apart. How could you do this to me? I whispered, my voice trembling. He didn't have an answer. The silence between us felt suffocating. I stood there, not knowing what to do with the pain gnawing at my chest. Why didn't you just tell me, Ethan? I demanded, my voice breaking. I would have understood. He cut me off, looking guilty. I didn't want to hurt you, I swear. But it's complicated. Claire and he faltered, then added. It's not what you think. It wasn't meant to go this far. I shook my head in disbelief. So, you've been lying to me for months, living a double life, and now you're telling me it wasn't meant to go this far? Ethan, how long were you planning on keeping this a secret from me? My heart pounded, and I felt my anger rising. Did you ever think about how I would feel? About how much this would hurt me? His face twisted with regret, but it didn't erase the betrayal. I backed away from him, my mind spinning. Everything I believed in, everything we built together, was a lie, I murmured. The dinners, the trips, the promises. You were doing it all behind my back. With her. All this time. He opened his mouth to speak, but I held up my hand, silencing him. Don't. I need time. I need space. And with that, I turned and walked out the door, not knowing where I was going, only knowing I needed to get away. I drove aimlessly, letting the roads take me wherever they would. I couldn't go home. I couldn't face the place that had once felt like my sanctuary, the place where I had trusted him, where I had trusted us. I pulled into a quiet park, the world around me blurred by the tears streaming down my face. The pain was unbearable. How had I been so blind? Hours later, my phone buzzed. It was a text from Ethan. I'm sorry, please let's talk. I stared at the screen, my mind a whirlwind of confusion. How could he be sorry after everything he'd done? I had so many questions, so many emotions tangled together. But I couldn't bring myself to reply, not yet. I needed to think. I needed to figure out what my next step would be. The next morning, I woke up in a daze. The weight of the situation pressed down on me like a physical force. Ethan's apology text still sat unanswered, and my mind kept replaying the conversation we had. I couldn't move on just yet. I needed to decide. Was there any hope left for us? Or was this betrayal too much to forgive? Part of me wanted to give him a chance to explain further. But another part of me, my heart, was telling me to walk away. Later that afternoon, there was a knock at my door. I wasn't expecting anyone, but when I opened it, there stood Claire. My first reaction was disbelief. What are you doing here? I snapped, my voice colder than I intended. She hesitated, then sighed. I know this is hard for you, she began, her eyes searching mine for some kind of understanding. But Ethan and I interrupted her, holding up my hand. I don't want to hear it. What could you possibly have to say to make this better? Claire looked down, her expression pained. I didn't want to hurt you. But Ethan and she paused, as if trying to find the right words. We've been seeing each other again because of you. I raised an eyebrow, confused. What do you mean? Claire took a deep breath. Because he wasn't happy with you. I never thought it would go this far, but he kept comparing us. He wanted me back. My chest tightened, my breath coming in short gasps. Was that true? Had I not seen how unhappy he truly was? As Claire spoke, I couldn't help but replay the moments in my marriage when things had shifted. The distant looks, the late nights, the excuses. Had I ignored the signs? Was I too focused on our routine, too comfortable in our life? I never thought to ask Ethan if something was missing, if he was unhappy. My eyes filled with tears. I was just as much to blame. I had taken him for granted, too. I turned away from Claire, unable to look at her any longer. The pain in my chest felt unbearable. I don't want this, I whispered, more to myself than to anyone else. I can't do this anymore. I walked back inside, the weight of the decision pressing heavily on my shoulders. It was clear now. I had to let go of Ethan, of us. It hurt more than I ever imagined. But holding on to something that was already broken was only going to hurt worse. Later that night, Ethan showed up at my door. His face was pale, eyes swollen from either regret or guilt. It didn't matter. I wasn't sure what I wanted from him anymore. I had already made up my mind. "You don't get to fix this, Ethan," I said, my voice shaking. "You've already hurt me more than I thought possible. All these lies, all this secrecy. You chose her. And now, I have to choose me." He stepped closer, his hand reaching out toward me, but I took a step back. "No," I whispered, my chest tight. "I can't go back." Ethan's voice cracked as he tried to explain. "I never meant for things to go this way, I swear. But Claire, she understood me in ways you couldn't. I was trying to find what I lost with you, but I see now that I've lost everything." I felt like I was suffocating. His words weren't an apology. They were excuses, justifications for everything he'd done. And as much as I wanted to scream, to shout, to cry, I just stood there. It was over. I had to accept it. I took a deep breath, feeling like the weight of 1,000 emotions had just come crashing down on me. "Goodbye, Ethan," I said quietly. "I hope you find what you're looking for with Claire. But I can't be part of this anymore. You broke me." His face crumpled as he stepped away, but I couldn't find it in myself to comfort him. There was nothing left to say. The love that once was had dissolved into a bitter memory, and all that was left now was the aftermath. Days turned into weeks, and the silence between us was deafening. I had to rebuild everything, my life, my sense of self. There were moments when I doubted my decision, when the memories of better days with Ethan would flood my mind. But then I'd remember the way he had lied, the way he had betrayed me, and the pain would remind me why I had to move on. I started picking up the pieces, slowly. And though it wasn't easy, I realized something important. I was stronger than I thought. It's been months now since that night. Ethan and Claire are living their life, and I'm living mine. It wasn't easy at first. I had to learn how to trust again, how to love myself. But I did it, and I'm finally at peace. I've learned that sometimes the hardest thing isn't letting go. It's realizing that you deserve more than what you've been given. And now, I'm ready for whatever comes next, because I know that I can handle it. I'm free. Thank you for listening to my story until now. If you like the video, please support it by subscribing and liking.